It diminishes the strength and the body of the drawing and the shapes and the composition even. No? Purity even means the removal of color. A world without color is total abstraction. The beauty, the quality of a painting is not enhanced by the excessive use of color. I have the satisfaction of doing only what I want to do. Whether they sell or not is not my worry. What I want is to paint what I like, but I can honestly say that I have never painted for saleability.
Again, these cyclists, so many of them, were they prepared with a study beforehand?
With drawings, a lot of drawings. Always. These things are always preceded by a lot of drawings. Almost all my things are preceded by drawings, except for I'm improvising with the collages. Some of them are spontaneous. This is why I've got so many drawings.
Since you're working in tones, would it affect if you use color?
Well, it would have the same effect, except that I decided to work in black and white. What would happen, Sid, is if I were using color, whatever the color, the objective here would be some kind of luminosity in the color, no?
I have to go back to the issue of color because it seems to be a major decisive thing in your art. Can you experiment with colors that you don't usually do, like green or purple?
I suppose that I can, except I've never had any preference for these colors. I have always shunned away from bright colors. I suspect bright colors. I find it too decorative. It diminishes the strength and the body of the drawing and the shapes and the composition even. No? Put in another way, since obviously my work is tending towards more and more purity. Purity is pure black and white to me. Without intending it, I suddenly realized that more and more I tend to be purer and simpler, and purity even means the removal of color. Pure down to the simplest elemental thing, black and white.
What is it in your sensibility, in your feeling?
I do not know. It's my nature that I want purity.
Yeah.
And secondly, and I think I mentioned this somewhere where they asked me and a few other people to say something about photography. And I was saying that a world without color is total abstraction. You remove all color from nature, that is total abstraction. So all of this come together towards a sense of simplicity and purity. And it's not intended. It just happens to go that way.
What is your reaction to an artist, say, Jerry Navarro, whose later years just was devoted to...
Admire them for loving color, but I couldn't possibly go that way. It is not in my nature to be gaudy.
But if you were to judge a piece of Jerry Navarro, you can say it's an excellent piece of work?
I would judge it as his painting, and it would and might be good, in fact very good. But it is not for me. In other words, it is something I would never do. I would admire it as a Navarro.
Because there's an artist who has a bit of a name already. And I asked him, he has said several, so why? I said, why haven't you shown any of these works to artists? Yeah. And he says he did, and your reaction was, they're too colorful.
Wait, we need to split a little hair here. I could truly admire a man who uses absolutely brilliant color, but it must be done in the right way. I'll give you an example. Victor Vasarely sometimes uses the most incredible colors, absolutely, with finesse, with audacity, with brilliance. I love it. In fact, I love Vasarely. That's very bright color. But a lesser talent using color, to me, is very superficial and suspect because they are using color in a very decorative way. And to me, it doesn't work as good art. In other words, okay, the beauty, the quality of a painting is not enhanced by the excessive use of color. In fact, it can detract from it. Fernando Zobel once said, bright colors cancel each other out. In other words, if you use color in excess, eventually the effect is dropped because they are so bright you don't know where to look that they kill each other rather than enhance each other. On the other hand, again, typical, beautiful example is Zobel, which is almost black and white, and suddenly a little streak of brilliant green absolutely explodes and is beautiful. Why? Because it's used with restraint and with sense. On the other hand, I will not name names, you take a lot of minor Philippine painters who just throw in every conceivable color on earth, and what is the effect? Absolute vulgarity.
I'm trying to get into the very essence of your affinity with black and white and your total disregard for for colors?
I have never really analyzed myself in this sense, but I suspect that it is a suspicion of bright color. It's a suspicion and a non-preference for bright color.
However, say, if someone, an artist following your example or inspired by your sensibility, starts to work on black and white, he might end up just doing Arturo Luz lookalikes.
Well, not necessarily. We would have a kinship in the avoidance of color, but not necessarily in anything else.
Like Lau Liandan, for example.
I mean, one clear example of that. Who are the painters who do black and white? Olaso, Lau Lianben, blah, 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 Luz, etc. Put us side by side. Is there any similarity? None. The only similarity is the use of black and white. We are totally different persons. Di ba?
But in the few instances where you allow yourself the luxury of color,
Yeah.
such as red, mustard, or ochre,
Or whatever color, I use it very sparingly and very carefully. That the color must add something that I'm trying to express. Secondly, it must be orchestrated so that the colors mean something. They do something to each other.
Okay.
It doesn't create chaos. It's a little symphony of colors. Rises, it falls. Some are drab, some are gray, some are a little bright.
suppose you work at home. Do you prepare your days? Do you plan your days?
Vaguely. I cannot live without a yellow pad. This yellow pad, which I have in my studio right now, gives me every day of every month for the year. So that anything that's about to happen is jotted down. So I'm aware of what goes on every day, the important things that need to be attended, that need to be performed and so on. I also have a page where I have broken it up into 4. Every month is 4. Theoretically 4 weeks, theoretically. And I tell myself what I've done every one of those weeks. So I'm aware of what I'm doing during that year. So in that sense, if you call that organized, I am that way. This is why I really forget it, because I jot them down.
I think it's a review written about the retro, expressing a kind of a wish that you would go back to the 50s work. How do you feel about
This is a wish that has been expressed in relation to all painters. It's a certain disappointment on the part of some people saying, sayang naman si Hernando Campo. I wish that he hadn't been so successful towards the end of his life. Or somebody would say, sayang naman yun si Manansala. Towards the last 5 years of his life, he was getting so lionized and popular and he was making so much money. These are hopes by so many people. Or they would say, si Legazpi naman sana the last few years, people didn't demand so much from him and kept paying his paintings before they were painted and so on, and that he had spent a little more time being more careful with his art. But this is expressed in terms of all of us. Or somebody would say, sa naman si Anita, after her peak in the 1950s, biglang pababa and the paintings are bigger. They contain nothing. They are very decorative. I am not alone, Sid. This is expressed about every painter that I know.
It's as if the 50s were the golden age of all of you.
Yeah, sure. So those are the things that are expressed by people concerning many of us. In my own case, at least at this point, I have the satisfaction of doing only what I want to do, no matter how unacceptable to a public.
Yes.
You know that 80% of people hate black and white. Well, why do you keep painting in black and white? Number one, no Chinese will touch your art. Secondly, nobody understands black and white. Thirdly, they only like color. Why do you do this? This is part of my freedom. This is what I want to do.
Not knowing what will happen to these paintings if they... So you have never been tempted by...
I hope not. I am not saying that I do not enjoy sales. We all do. We all need the money. Otherwise, I'd probably be painting different things.
Yes.
Or in color.
Yeah.
There has also been expressed the idea concerning me quite a number of times by people. I wish that Luz would go to his early style. Are you kidding? People change day by day, year by year. I cannot be the same person that I was in the 1950s. You expect me to paint that way? I change every year. Good or bad, I change every moment.
Yes.
Don't expect me to go back there. Or they say, sayang si Luz, maganda ang estilo ng araw, malambot, mas malambot. What? What does it mean? Well, I become more rigid in what I do. I have been more demanding, more simple, more pure, I hope. This is why I paint this way now. I cannot paint the way I was painting during the PhD days. That was loose then, yeah?
Maybe it's because those paintings in the 50s are no longer available and they wish that they had bought them.
Yeah, these are the people also who say, I'd like to buy your art, but do you have your early works? I hear this 2-3 times a week. Do you still have your early works? No, of course not. They're all gone.
Now, you're doing the cycles again.
I will do this till my last day. It just is something that appeals to me.
Yeah. Before, during our previous interviews, I asked you, how do you plan images? How do you seek out images? And then you said, I remember that you wrote down things that you may want to do.
Answer to that, let me go back to my list so that I do it for you in sequence.
Right.
That is the Celebration series, large paintings done in 1998. Then I did the Ochre Still Life series. And then after that, then suddenly I thought of the Fragments series. As you know, in the last, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, I have more or less doubled in photography. Very casually, without intending to be a very, very accomplished photographer. I just enjoy it. And so I started thinking of what to photograph. And the first things that occurred to me were nature shots. We happen to have a very nice tree there with the most beautiful kind of leaf. So I started gathering some of that. Then I have all kinds of stones all over my house. And then I've got bamboo trees behind me. And I've got all kinds of twisted woods and so on. So all of a sudden, this came together in my mind. And this would be rather interesting as a subject for still photography. I would make very careful arrangements. I would mount my camera and take shots of this. One day, my friend, Patrick Koenigswerther, photographer, took one look and said, "You're wasting your time." I said, "You shouldn't photograph it. You should mount them and show them." Believe it or not, this is what started it. I abandoned the whole idea of taking the photograph.
Were you conscious that Paul Klee was doing something like this? Lines?
Absolutely. All my life, I have always been associated with Paul Klee. I feel flattered, by the way. I don't feel insulted. And I have always admitted, oh yes, he's my God, Paul Klee. I love him. Everything he does, I love. Having lived with that all my life, suddenly comes my retrospective at the Metropolitan Museum. I stood in the middle of that show, looked at all the things, and then told myself, there is not one piece here that I would say looks like Paul Klee. I couldn't believe it. I said, Paul Klee, now where is Paul Klee? I don't see him.
Because I think here in the Philippines, if you so much as use lines, then you become Paul Klee.
Something like that.
If you so much as abstract something, you become either Picasso or Pollock.
Did you ever get that feeling? Because I convinced myself during that show. I said, can somebody please point to one painting here and say, oh my God, yes, this is very much like Paul Klee. As I said, I would be flattered, but I couldn't find one that I would say, yes, definitely I would associate this with Paul Klee.
But as a young artist then,
I was very influenced.
you love this work. You like this work.
I love his work. To this day I do. But I have loved and admired and even tried to copy many, many painters. I'm not ashamed of it. I admit it to the world. But, as you probably know by now, I suppose when you are that open and that honest about it, it's when you come under its influence less. When you absorb it and admit it and take it in and spew it out, quickly the whole thing dissipates itself. You get it, digest it, throw it out, and before you know it, you're over it. And on to the next influence. What I'm saying is, all my life I have been influenced by so many artists, but none of it has stuck with me.
Why is it then that some paintings
why.
look like, like a copy, an imitation of a particular artist?
Because you're influenced by the art force or by accident. You can paint exactly like somebody else you've never met or seen, or you can paint very similar to somebody that you truly admire, and subconsciously, even without you admitting it, you're trying to emulate him.
Of course.
And it will look very much like him. I did for a while.